Greetings, YouTube. It's your buddy Troy here. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, I'm a former fat guy sharing my story with the hope that it might help someone else. If it helps one person, it was worth it. What I ask is that if you support me in that, take a second to boop that subscribe button on your screen there. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it means the world to me. So, in today's video, I thought we could do a book review. I'm really excited. I've never done one of these before. But, on your weight loss journey, you may be in a situation where you feel very alone. You feel like you're faced with insurmountable odds. And you may feel like the situation is hopeless and you don't even know sort of like where or how to get started. And what I want you to know is that you're not alone. There's a lot of people in that position. And there's also a lot of people who are faced with that position and were successful in breaking out and creating the new future that they want for themselves. And guys, to be honest, if you're not happy with your body where you're at right now, if I hate to say if you're disgusted with yourself, but if you just feel like your body, right, if you're disappointed with where your body is at, what that means is that it could be somewhere else. Because if it wasn't possible for the situation to be different, you would feel nothing. It wouldn't bother you. So it's okay to kind of sit with that feeling, guys, of looking in the mirror and just thinking to yourself like, oh man, my big floppy man boobs, my big floppy belly, what can I do about this? Well, I would invite you to consider mindset and the importance of mindset on your fitness journey. And the book that I want to talk about today, it was given to me by a friend. All right. Well, this is the name of the book. It's by a person by the name of Russ. It's all in your head. And indeed it is. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, keep in mind that it's you versus you. Right? The battle is in the mind. And so the book is broken up into 3 parts: delusion, persistence, and gratitude. And I'll do my best to try to explain it in terms of my experience, things that may resonate with me, and try to tie it into a person, how someone may be able to use it on their weight loss journey. So part 1, under delusion, you got to be delusional in the beginning because you have to believe in something that you don't have any evidence for yet, right? You can't actually touch it, but you can see it in your mind's eye. You know you could be doing better, right? Maybe you have those big floppy man boobs and big love handles, and you're looking at the Men's Health magazine thinking to yourself, you know what? I want my abs to look like the cover model's abs. Yeah, that magazine cover right there, get 6-pack abs, whatever it may be. I want that to be me. You know what? That is going to be me. In the beginning, you need to be delusional. And what happens when you tell someone that, right? They're like, they shrug, they think that you're crazy. If people think that your idea is crazy, good. That means that you're shooting high enough. You need to believe in yourself, at least, right? No one else is going to believe in you. And you need to believe in yourself so much that in the beginning, you're a little bit delusional. Next, keep in mind that it is, in fact, you versus you. That should be really good news. Many people, right, feel as if everything is against them. And things may very well impede your progress. They may set you back. And I feel like that probably resonates very strongly with anyone who has ever been on any kind of fitness journey. You get hurt, you get sick, you lose your job, your relationship, you end up becoming homeless. Right? How do I know? How do I come up with these examples so easily? Because, that's my experience. And I bet that that's been a lot of people's experience. And so sometimes we think like, oh man, everything is against me. Everyone is trying to stop me. That's not true. Things happen. It's up to us how we look at them. And really, most people don't care about the journey that you're on. They're thinking about themselves. They're not actively working against you, and that's great. So at the end of the day, it's either you are doing the thing that you should be doing or you're not. It's you versus you. So what is that, you versus you? It's a game, right? You're playing a game. And studying this in my experience, talking to sports people in particular, but just anybody who excels in whatever area of their life, you talk to these people and you find out that for them, it's not about the points on the scoreboard. So in other words, it's more about the game or the journey. It's really the process that these people really enjoy. And so consider that, right? Whatever that thing is that you're trying to do, you need to find something like whatever baby steps towards that thing is that you're trying to make, you need to find something that you actually like to do so that way, right? So that way you like the game. That way it's about the game. It's not about the points. The points aren't going to come quickly. If you're trying to lose 100 pounds of body fat, how long do you think that that's going to take? It took me like a year, right? And I'm still, right, recovering from the body fat. Honestly, things like that take a long time. I saw a kid who got his finger chopped off, and over time, over many years, like the finger started to regrow. It was a very slow process. Think of times you've been upset and experienced trauma and stuff like that. How long it sort of takes to forget or maybe get over some of these things. If you cut yourself, right? How long does it take for that to heal? Think of weight loss as your body healing. Think about all the loose skin. You lose all the weight, pretty quick, and then you have all this loose skin and you need to strengthen. You got to do all this stuff. It takes a long time. And so you don't quit. You need to find something that you like. So just consider, right? F the points. I'm not going to swear on the channel, but the takeaway is F the points. Really try to find something about the game that you like, that you're passionate about, or else it's going to be really hard for you. If there is nothing, it's probably not your sport. Finally, on the other side of fear is your truth. So we bump up against ego. Ego is a bear to bump up against, as my mom would say. But we bump up against fear and self-doubt. And we're afraid to fail because we're so hard on ourselves that we don't put ourselves out there, right? And I understand it. It's probably a human instinct for self-preservation, because if I think to myself, well, the saying goes, those who fight and run away live to fight another day. So if I decide that by going over there and engaging in this situation, I'm going to be killed, right? Then I got to really ask myself why I'm doing that, right? That's self-preservation. But, I think that maybe some of those protective mechanisms come into play even when the stakes are a lot smaller. So, right, we're going to try this new diet, and it's harder than we thought it was going to be. It affected our energy levels. We weren't able to stay on it, and we have to adjust fire. So, we have to be able to, it can be scary to even take a look at ourselves sometimes, right? Like really take a look at some of those things that we know we could probably change, but we do mental gymnastics to justify them to ourselves. And the invitation is just to take a look at it. On the other side of your fear is your truth. Next, in part 2 of the book, persistence. What that means to me is keeping at it. You don't give up, right? I've never seen someone fail at this as a result of... Shit. I've seen a lot of people fail at this. But what I'm trying to say is that the reason that people fail is because they give up, right? So you try things and they don't work. You adjust fire, you adapt, you take a break for a little while and come back to it. But the reason that people fail is because they quit. If you keep going at this, you will not lose, right? It just may take you longer. You might take the long way if you do it on your own. And that's why it can be helpful to have a guide. So I'd love to be your humble guide in this. But let's talk about persistence. All right. Part 1, under that section in the book, it mentions how hard work is so much more important than talent. And if you think about that, right, you could have a very talented person in some discipline, let's say that it's some type of sport. It's some contact sport, football or fighting or something like that. Have this very, very, very talented technical person, right? But they don't train. They're just very good at whatever their sport is. And then you have this other person who maybe they weren't born with that natural talent, right? For whatever the technical aspects of their sport is, but they train. And they train 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 and they train, and to the point when they're just an animal and they're a beast, and their physical capability so far surpasses that of the person that has greater just natural talent, that guess what? At that point, the person is able to at least compete, right? As opposed to, hey, certain people are better at certain things, and that doesn't mean that because some people are just like, there's a certain amount of luck, I'm sure, with, like, I was blessed with a certain amount of genetics, right? So I'm thankful for that. But there's other people who were blessed with other things that put them ahead of me in certain competitive fields. And I just want to make sure that I don't give up because maybe someone else is a little bit more talented than I am. They have a little better genetics, whatever it is. It's a little bit harder for me, so boo-hoo, I'm not going to try. No, because it's very possible that by trying really hard, you can overcome that talent. The trained person can sometimes prevail, especially nowadays. Never has it been easier. So consider that. Next, pull the trigger. Don't hesitate. Are you guys ever procrastinators? I know that I am, and it just kills momentum, right? When you just sit around and talk about it. Well, maybe I should. Oh, I don't know. It's not quite. Well, I'd rather do it on. When you put things off, it's like doesn't happen. No momentum is created, right? It gets easier to keep putting it off. Don't hesitate. Just do it. You can be a little, what's the word? Audacious, right? A little audacity in the beginning. You try something, maybe it's a little crazy and you miss. It doesn't work, whatever. And so you just kind of readjust. Try again. Not doing anything gets you nowhere. Next, naked. Keep your barriers down. I do the video with the shirt off. It feels a little silly, but the shirt off videos tend to get a few more views. When I go out there and talk in the video, I know that people are going to talk crap. I know that I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to look silly. And sometimes you just got to throw yourself on the sword. If you want to get out in the arena, you know that you're going to take some hits and you might end up looking a little bit silly. And that's part of the learning process. When I was first starting on my weight loss journey, it was like, what's Troy doing to eat healthy today? Oh, well, he's going to get the fillet of fish in the drive-thru. I'm going to get the chicken tenders today. I'm doing healthy. And it's like, no. And sometimes it's a little embarrassing, even to share these kinds of things. But, hey, you know what? It's about being honest, right? And might have to be a little vulnerable if you're going to keep it real with yourself. So, hey, it's authenticity. And keeping it real, it might be helpful for you to keep your barriers down. The ego can prevent you sometimes from making progress. Next, plotting while patient. This is going to take some time. It might take a year. It might take a few years. So be patient. When we're in a hurry to do the thing, and it's going to take a long time, so I suffer to work towards whatever it is, right? And it shouldn't be suffering so much because I should be trying to implement a way that I like it. If I don't like it, it's not for me, but I'm suffering. And I wake up tomorrow and I'm not there yet. And then what? Well, that's going to really break my spirit if that keeps happening, and that's going to keep happening. It's going to take a long time. You need to be patient. All of the different strategy. I read a lot of different strategy books. I'd love to hear what books you like to read in the comments. But many of them talk about the importance of patience, and it resonates. Next, how to survive in the world. That's a great question. Here's your answer. Do it yourself. You are alone. There's a lot of really cool lone wolf videos on YouTube. You guys should look them up. Search that after you watch this video. And it just talks about the importance of solitude, being alone, doing things yourself, relying on yourself. No one is coming to save you. So although there's benefits in community, there's many benefits in collaboration, support, relationships, all that stuff is great. But just consider that you are ultimately responsible for the survival of you. Anti-dogma. Don't fall for it. It's a trick. It's flim-flam. Don't fall for it, because when you fall for it, what happens in nature when you fall for it, right? That goes against the last rule. That's how you not survive in the world. You fall for the dogma. And what dogma means to me is just people just blind faith. Just blind faith in whatever. And what I've found throughout my time here on this planet is that many of the things I've been told have been wrong, and I've followed them to my detriment. I've done so much to hurt myself thinking that I'm doing the right thing. And I could give a lot of examples, but I'm not even going to, because I want you to stay with the one that you have in your mind right now for you. But avoid the dogma. Curiosity is a wonderful thing. Just saying, I wonder about that. You can't learn what you already think you know. And dogma is thinking that you know something, and whatever it is that you think you know is probably made up. So, something to consider. Next, move with a purpose. Don't lollygag towards your thing. If you tell yourself, oh yeah, this is gonna take me a year or so I'm just gonna, let's think about it a little while. I don't want to get into it. Maybe we'll start next week. No, you need to have started yesterday. You need to do it now. As soon as you get done with this video, I want you to walk away from this with a little bit of a different mindset. At least start to take a look at things with that curiosity. Like, man, that crazy guy with the glasses, what the heck was he talking about? I don't know. Maybe I need to rethink this whole diet and, my strategies here. So that would be the takeaway, the invitation. But you got to do it now. You got to do it yesterday. You need to move with a purpose. When you put it off, it doesn't get done. The longer you put it off, the easier it is to keep putting it off. Guys, I'm telling you, just start. Just do something. Do something that you like. Do it just for a few minutes. Commit yourself to that. Between 3 to 6 minutes every single day, force yourself to do something that you like. Do that for 6, 9 weeks, and then come back and hit me in the comments and subscribe and tell me and say, thank you, Troy. You were right. Next, gratitude. Thank you, Troy. You were right about what you were saying. Gratitude. It can be hard to find the gratitude sometimes because there is so much suck in life, but it's up to us how we look at things. And so we can look at everything like we're thankful for it. I am so thankful for the ability to be able to speak to you right now in this video. It's incredible. And I feel like what my purpose is to let someone else out there who is struggling with body fat know that it's not a life sentence and that it is within your power to make the changes in your body that you want to see. Body transformation. It's your body. You can do it if you want. And that's what I want you to know. And if you're a big fat guy and you're happy that way, I support you too. You know what? This isn't about self-improvement. This isn't about self-improvement. That's not what this is, right? We all have our things. And this is about someone who wants to change their body, and that's their goal. And I say they can do that. You can do it. You have the power. So let's talk about that gratitude a little bit. Have you ever climbed a mountain or walked up? They call it hiking. So you walk up a hill, you get all the way up to the top. And when you get up there, what do? You take it all in, right? You look around and you're like, man, you think about where you came from, where you are now, and you think to yourself, boy, tell you what, you had so many close calls, right? How many times did you almost get hit by the bus? Yet you got to this point. There's something, at least by then, for you to feel thankful for. So the invitation would be to consider that. Look around, take it all in. I'd love to hear what's going well for you in the comments. Next, potential. Look up to yourself. The story you tell yourself about yourself is so important. So why not look up to yourself? Okay, and really for me, I feel a little shy to say this, but I'm trying to flip people from being consumers to being providers, right? So from people who are kind of like in the beginning phases of their journey and they're like way off base doing all the wrong stuff, but they want to do better. And then they learn and they're like, oh, and then you can kind of help other people. So for me, it's about like coaching coaches. I know you guys are going to be successful. And I know that when you are successful, people are going to come to you and they're going to ask you, how you did it. And I'm going to be gone by then. And you're going to pass on your knowledge. There was a time when I wanted to keep this secret because when I had all that body fat, it was very painful. And I was like, oh boy, this is kind of, and then, other people get stuck there their whole life. And I was able to get out of it. I just figured out a framework. People showed me. They were like, here's what you do. And I was like, oh. But then having that, I didn't want to tell anybody else until recently. That's why I started this channel, because people need to know that they can do it. You can do it. Next, success is not a final destination. Guys, if I go off the rails right now and I go in there and I get the cheese brick and I get the donuts and the popcorn and everything else that I want to eat, it's going to really go off the rails. Success in fitness, on your fitness journey or whatever else you're trying to do, remember, it really should be, try to learn to love the game. It really should be about the process, and the goal should be to not stop playing the game, just to keep playing, just to keep going. So like focus on the journey is what people say. And I know, trust me, I'm very critical of myself. People can be critical of themselves and we can get down on ourselves when things aren't going our way. But, I've sort of learned that there is some beauty in the struggle, and we're free to decide how we want to look at things. And so when it sucks, we can appreciate it. When it's great, we can appreciate it. We can always be thankful for, for the lessons and for the other things too. But we should try to stay even, Steven, and really just kind of focus on the journey, because to win is just to keep playing. Next, bounce back to life, right? Integration. How are we going to land with this? So that's up to you guys, how you move forward with this talk we've had, right? How you integrate it into your life. I'd love to hear in the comments. Hope that you guys are killing it. And finally, the main focus should be to stay focused. Just keep on going, guys. I know you can do it. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.